yesterday. I'm going to be using both cameras here, so hopefully it'll work. So those on YouTube, welcome, and those on Twitter, now of X, I guess we're supposed to say here. Okay, let's kick this off. Welcome, everyone. My name is John Davies. Thank you very much for joining me live from a beautiful, sunny London, England. And this is for, obviously, the 3rd of April, 2025. Maybe we're supposed to say it the day after Tariff Day. But first of all, thank you, everyone, for joining me. And I hope you find this helpful. Well, absolutely helpful. If I'm going to go over, this and get to everyone and speak of it on a regular basis, I think the first point you have to understand is I'm in this industry. I'm a professional in financial management, 42 years, not so long from now, or I'll be celebrating the anniversary of 42 years in this industry. I've done a lot of things in this industry. Managing risk is one of the most important things I believe every person should emphasize in their portfolio management. Manage risk, or risk will manage you. And if you fail to manage risk, you're going to learn the hard way. Tariff Day. Many of you are going to learn the hard way, and you've been looking at it, certainly if you're in the crypto sphere, learning the hard way for quite some time. I've told you before, I do not talk politicians. I'm actually often short politicians when it comes to fund management. But my job as a fund manager is to accumulate wealth and protect wealth. Remember that. Accumulate wealth, protect wealth. And you have to remember some very basic things, such as the money is always made on the buy side. The money's made on the buy side. It's not a song and dance game. And emphasize that this is not a game. It's not a joke. Unfortunately, again, a lot of people learn the hard way today. It's not a game. And for those in the crypto sphere, and I like all of you, we like to see politicians in any region of the world embrace decentralized finance, Web3, understand what it really means. But does that mean it's a bullish signal for the market cap? There's a lot of fundamental great things happening in the DeFi space without question. But overregulation, and for that matter, allowing politicians to, in the best way I can look at this, phrase this, and I know it's a peculiar way, is the more that you try to centralize, decentralized finance, you're going to have a lot of toughening. I've been warning this to each one of you in my crypto talk discussions and other places, and this is exactly what's happening. We're seeing this. Decentralized finance is meant to be decentralized. There is no great capital of crypto. There won't be. There might be capitals of decentralized finance, or better yet, areas that will claim to be the capital, or areas that will have a very high prominence of business. But it's everywhere. It's decentralized, not centralized. Don't try to do this. And this is the problems that we're having right now. It's not an eccentric action of one particular nation. Again, go back to your earliest studies of decentralized finance. Okay, so for today, I want to remind you, the money is made on the buy side. You have to be prepared to be the hunter or be the hunted, to dine or be dinner, to buy when there's blood in the water, and to recognize when it's time to buy. Is it time to buy within the crypto sphere? Quite frankly, I'm not sure. I'm not positive. I would say I have no confirmation that it is. And I thought we had a turn when Chair Powell spoke most recently, as you know, with the rate decision, and that certainly it turned out to be false. And yesterday's tariff announcement reversed everything. It's no longer such a clear-cut case. So I'd like to tell you the money is made on the buy side, and as always, you sell into buying frenzies and you buy into selling storms, and it sure is raining right now. But within the crypto sphere, is it time to buy? No. It's not. Not unless you are very, very tactically sound. You are looking at buying ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs, and you're using your options, maybe in a standard covered call, using an in-the-money call. Don't be arrogant about this. Prepared to roll later on. We can discuss that. But unless you're doing that, why bother? You have to tag a good price here. And this market is susceptible to an extreme pullback. Remember when we suggested this, that the general market, equity markets are susceptible to a pullback. However, in the bigger picture, when we look at Bitcoin and the altcoin market, Bitcoin, and based upon my numbers in December, and I announced it on January 22nd, I know I waited a little bit here, that it was prone to a pullback around the $75,000 range. And certainly a lesser probability to a pullback towards 70,000. When Bitcoin was chugging along at 106,000, that wasn't a very popular thing. And may I remind you, if you haven't already heard this, if you want to make yourself really unpopular, be the one in the room that's talking about proper risk management policies within the Bitcoin community, Bitcoin crypto. No one wants to look at the rear view mirror. Faster sometimes means you come to a big crash. And as much as we'd like to have the idea, there's no reason to look in the rear view mirror. If you're not managing risks, if you're not managing your six, taking care of that, you're gonna have a very hard collision. And today, it's one heck of a storm, and there'll be a great deal of selling storms. There'll be an overload of those, and people will be looking for a liquidity. There'll be a liquidity looking at liquidity crunches here. So again, I reiterate that I'm looking for Bitcoin to break down possibly to 75,000, to a lesser probability to 70,000. The numbers that I released in January, they were based on December numbers, point to, in essence, from a pure mathematical standpoint, 36% correction to around 69,000, but you get the idea. Higher probability towards 75,000, lesser towards 70,000. Okay, lesser towards 70,000. Now, the big statement coming out this week, we're going to have Chair Powell talking of this on Friday while the equity market's open, and it remains to be seen what he's going to say on that. But there is nothing right now that's giving you clue in the crypto market and Bitcoin and the altcoin market, and it is simply a bloodbath, an ugly bloodbath that just keeps getting lower. Yesterday, in the probably not the most popular comments I could make, I urged everyone just to be aware this can break down further. If if we see tougher measures in the form of tariffs, this can break down measurably, and it has. And so if you went into this without proper risk management policies, you are just being cavalier in your approach, and unfortunately, you're suffering a very difficult 24-hour period. You look at the 24-hour little map on this right now, and it is basically hellfire on this. It's disgusting. And as we look, we're not going to hit the circuit breakers on the opening on equity markets, but it's not getting towards that first level of 7%. But it is ugly. Tron is the best performer in the last 24 hours. It's off 2.9%. Bitcoin, and I remember I have 10 altcoins, and obviously I have Bitcoin and Ethereum outside of that. But of this group, Bitcoin is coming in second with only a 3.6% breakdown. It's sitting around 81, just under 900, just under 81,900. Not looking good. Certainly looks we're on a roadmap to 75,000. And that bounce, the turn, is predicated on the Treasury just accelerating that money print operation. It's a very, very tough game of roulette that is being played right now in the Beltway. And I don't like this action at all. So I'm very careful right now with Bitcoin. This could break down further. Again, off 3.6 to 81, just under 900. Ondo, Wall Street 2.0, no signs this is breaking down. Off 6.7%. Ethereum off 5.8. Hedera, great company, off 6.3. XRP off nearly 7%. Aave off 7%. AVAX off 7.3. Link, the best of the altcoin that no one owns enough of, where all roads go to Link. I think I've given you every phrase possible here. Off a stunning 8.1%, but it's not done. I shouldn't say it's not done yet. I do not believe it is done yet. The risk is too high, and this could roll over further. If Bitcoin rolls to 75,000, the altcoin market is going to roll to even a greater percentile basis. Cardano keeps puking up, off nearly 9%, 8.9. Algo, great company, off 9.5%. Sol has completely walked away. Sol and Sui are off 10.3 and 10.1% respectively. That's just over the last 24 hours. And I remind you of something that I mentioned to you yesterday, that if this breaks down, don't be surprised. This is something that you probably want to sit down, turn your stomach a little bit. I am not surprised if the balance of this, remember half of that grouping that I just listed, are well above their one year valuations. Tron is leading. XRP, Tron, HBAR, Aave, RL, SUI, and obviously Bitcoin and ADA are up. But Ondo, Algo, Link's off 30.5. Sol off 39.7, Ethereum off hideous 47%, AVAX off 62. While those groups in the green, this could turn, and this could turn much more uglier. We're going to be watching how this moves with Nasdaq. Watch this relationship. I'm expecting the S&P, no, I shouldn't say it. I'm expecting it to find some support just below 5,200, 50 just well approximately. But that's just, that is my best case within a technical. I'm certainly looking for a further drop down to 4,800 to 5,000. But I want to urge everyone, for many who have been suggesting Chair Powell both has the capability to come to the rescue, but is coming in for the rescue, guess again. That isn't what I have factoring in it, and at no time should you be planning on that to happen to save your portfolios. Manage risk before risk manage you. If you're sitting on the sidelines right now, wait. The only person that can move in or should move in at this time, pardon me, I shouldn't say can, should move in, is one that is using options to mitigate risk in their entry level. And that would obviously be a position where they're using, say, call options within a buy right in something of that ilk with an ETF, but using in the money options that are at least 2 to 3% in the money and still have a reasonable theta that sets you up with a winning tradition of rolls. We can talk about that more at length, but I hope that assists. Okay? So there we have it for today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. I'm John Davies. I'll be back tomorrow at approximately 0900. We'll see how this works out on simulcasting between YouTube and Twitter. But as always, I do appreciate your time and support. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.